What is going on, everybody? It's the Frank, and we're here for AEW on TBS review for October the 5th, 2022. And I want to sit here and talk about this show without anything hanging over it. But again, Tony Khan is a fucking coward! A terrible fucking boss. This guy needs something, something needs to happen to this fucking company. This is a month. Hangman, after everything that started back in May, where Hangman Page was the first domino that led to Raw Out at the end of All Out. And you suspended the Bucks, you suspended CM Punk, you suspended Ace Steel, you suspended Kenny Omega, all for an internal investigation. All because you let that shit simmer and stew and pretty much let a powder keg explode and did nothing about it. So now we have ourselves another backstage altercation, another fight, and only one person gets punished this time. And it wasn't even the guy who started all of this bullshit. I'm sorry. Now, what happened was, yesterday, an interview for Andrade came out from one of these Spanish language interviews. It was translated and all that. He's in this interview. He brought up Sammy Guevara's name because apparently after a match with Sammy Guevara, Sammy came to the back and was like a little bitch, crying and complaining that Andrade hit him too hard. He doesn't like to be hit too hard because, again, he's acting like a crybaby little bitch. Sammy goes on social media, which was red flag number 1 right here. This should have been automatic no-no, but, you know, Tony Khan wants to be one of the boys and not a fucking boss. Andrade never said anything to his face. They go back and forth, and they said that they were going to meet each other tonight before the show and fight. Khan, what the fuck are you doing? You need an HR department, you need a PR department, you need a social media department. If something like this happens, you have your security go, well, wait a minute. Why was Andrade even at the building tonight? He didn't have a match. You could have did a pre-tape last week, and his match against 10 is not till Friday. Oh, by the way, that match is now off because Tony Khan loves to play his favorites, and Andrade is not one of his favorites, unlike Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is a child. Sammy Guevara is an immature child who continues to do whatever the fuck he wants, say whatever the fuck he wants, aggravate whoever the fuck he wants, get into altercations, and gets no punishment for it. Are you kidding me? I'm not saying Andrade should not be punished. They got into an altercation backstage. They got in a fight. I don't care who threw the first punch. I don't care who ended it. Both got into a fight. Both should have been suspended, and both should have been sent home. Sammy Guevara should not have been in the main event. Sammy Guevara should not have been getting the pinfall win for his team in the main event. You let the entire show be overshadowed. This is your 3-year anniversary, and because you don't want to be a fucking boss, you don't want to be a proper boss, an impartial boss who doesn't take fucking sides and doesn't play favorites. You want to be one of the boys. You want to hang out with the originals who were here from day one, and you want to punish anybody who wants to challenge that authority. Trying to get sent home while Sammy Guevara gets the main event and get the pinfall win for his team. Tony Khan, hold some fucking balls and be a fucking boss. I'm tired of shit. AEW doesn't need this. I don't get who should be the one. They should, yes, they're 2 grown men. They don't need their hands held. But you are just coming off of what happened at the beginning of September. This company is still feeling the stigma of what happened at All Out. There is no reason we need to, a month later, have another altercation. And again, Sammy Guevara, scot-free, while the person he got involved with this time is possibly suspended again. Sent home from the show. Why? Why? Because Tony Khan plays his favorites. He doesn't want to be a boss. Only wants to be a boss when he feels like it and wants to be one of the boys who hangs out and dances at fucking parties. When you're off the clock, if you want to go to Sammy Guevara's wedding and dance like a fool, you do that because that's your personal time. When you're on the fucking clock, be a boss. Be your fucking boss. Both men should have been sent home. You have Angelo Parker, Matt Menard, and Jay Klager, all members of the Jericho Appreciation Society who could have taken that place. Yes, I know it would have made sense in the story, but give me a fucking break. Why does Sammy Guevara get out of this scot-free again? Now, yes, I understand he said he called Eddie Kingston fat-faced dipshit or whatever, taped episode of Rampage, and Rampage, they cut it out, and, you know, he didn't throw a punch that time, but apparently him and Andrade both came to blows. So it needs to be punished. He should not have been in the main event. He should not have been working. He should have been, and Andrade shouldn't have even been in the fucking building. Yes, I understand they're going to be there on Rampage on Friday, the same building, but Andrade had no business even being at the show tonight. He doesn't have a match tonight. He didn't have a segment. He wasn't advertised at all for tonight. So why the fuck is he in the building? Rampage wasn't taped. Wasn't live, then it would have been taped. Then I understand, yes, his match was going to be on tape after the show tonight, but it's live on Friday. Why the fuck was he even in the building? Tony Khan should have told Andrade, called him up, after all those tweets went out, should have called him up and said, do not come to the show on Wednesday. I'll see you on Friday. And then go right to Sammy Guevara and be like, see you Friday. Do not come to the building. See you tomorrow. Do not come to the building, or like go home early. We don't need you on Friday. Go home early or whatever. But no, Tony Khan failing as a boss time and time again. I'm sick and fucking tired of this shit. Yes, every company has drama, but give me a fucking break. Now everyone's like, oh, well, you had stuff like this happen in WWE back in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. Yes, but that was a different time. We didn't have social media. Could you imagine how WWF and WCW would have been had Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media platform would have been a thing back in those eras? It would have been just madness. Absolute fucking madness. But here we are in the year of 2022, where when you're a public figure, you gotta be careful what you say in an interview. You gotta be careful what you say on social media. You gotta be careful 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because if there's some way for people to be able to get your words, you just gotta be careful what you say. Now, is he innocent in all this? No, maybe he shouldn't have brought up Sammy Guevara for no reason. Nobody brought up Sammy. He did. Sammy Guevara also should have been acting more like an adult. You just got married. Act like a fucking adult. People telling Tony Khan to get rid of Tay Mello, which last I checked, just because she's married to Sammy Guevara doesn't mean she's done a damn thing. They probably, come in, she goes to the women's locker room, he goes to the men's locker room, and they don't see each other till it's TV time. So why are you guys lumping in Tay when it doesn't seem like she has anything to do with any of this? Last I checked, Tay Mello I haven't heard a bad thing about Tay Mello other than the fact that people accuse her of being a homewrecker and killing and ruining Pam and Sammy's previous relationship. Again, I'll say this one now. None of your fucking business what happened between Pam, Sam, and Tay. That's between them. It wasn't put out in the public. If all that stuff happened, that seems to be like the only reason people hate Tay. Is because she's married to fucking Sammy, and apparently everyone thinks that she broke up Sammy and Pam. Again, I don't know Sammy and Pam or Tay personally. I don't know what fucking happened. I don't give a shit what fucking happened. So how about we leave that in the past? Tay has nothing to do with this. She's, as far as I know, been a model wrestler, talent on the roster. Sammy has been a petulant little child, and it's just so funny because it seems like a majority of the favorites of Tony Khan turn out to be fucking children. The Elite, children. CM Punk, a child. Sammy Guevara, a child. Whereas you have Mox, you have Jericho, you have Danielson, these guys wanting to help steer this ship. You have children like Sammy fucking Guevara acting like a fucking 2-year-old, worse than a 2-year-old. Havoc, and because he's Tony Khan's favorite and he's Chris Jericho's boy, he skates without punishment again. Now we could wake up in the morning and Sammy Guevara gets sent home and he can't. And they just wanted to get the main event through, which still doesn't look good for Tony Khan. The fact that you threw one guy on, you suspended one guy, but then you sent one guy home. Then we don't know if he's been suspended, more than likely, because if it was just sending him home or send him back to the hotel for the night because he's not needed for 2 more nights. Yeah, but he's been sent home while Sammy Guevara gets to sit there, get fuck you Sammy chants all through the 15 minutes they had that tag team match, and he gets the pinfall win for his team. Tony Khan, you're becoming very, very tone deaf, and you want to know what's going to get people to stop watching your company, watching AEW, give up on AEW? Garbage like this. Allowing this shit to happen. Playing favorites with talent, because they were here since day one, and Andrade's only been here for about 1.5 years, maybe 2 almost. I'm sorry, Tony, you can't play favorites. You are the boss. You are the higher up guy. Everybody comes to you when it comes to a problem. Everyone should. But we are, less than over 24 hours later, Sammy Guevara is being treated as if he's Tony Khan's golden child, while Andrade gets thrown to the wolves and thrown under the bus and sent home. It's a problem. It's a massive fucking problem, and Tony Khan needs to grow the fuck up, act like a fucking boss. When you walk into that building, whatever building you're in for whatever night, when you walk into that building, the minute you cross the threshold through that door, you are no longer on your own personal time. You're on company time. And you, Tony Khan, are the fucking boss of this company. Do your fucking job. Stop playing favorites and be a fucking boss. I'm sorry, but that's all I can say about that. It's stupid that we have to sit here a month after what happened at All Out and continue to talk about the drama backstage. Everybody needs to grow the fuck up. Act like men. The women haven't heard any altercations outside of, bullshit from the shit faker, but, other than that, we haven't really heard anything in the women's locker room, but it seems like the men need to grow up and act like fucking men. We'll just see what happens coming out of this. We'll get probably more details tomorrow. Meltzer, Brian Alvarez, SRS, which for some reason has me blocked on social, and I don't know what I said. Either way, that is what I'm going to talk about that. Spent too much time on it. Let's get to the show. Hello, YouTube was the first match of the show. This was fantastic. MJF out here in his first match in 129 days. Of course, that match, his last match was at All Double or Nothing, getting squashed by Wardlow. So he comes out, he mocks his opponent, Will Yuta fires back several attacks. These guys go back and forth. Really good match. And you gotta remember, MJF has the phone on retainer. So when he needs them, he's gonna call on them. And I'm sitting here wondering, are we gonna get the firm? Are the firm gonna come out and ruin this match? No. They went for, I think, like 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. Just back and forth match. It looked like there were times where it could have been Yuta's time. Fans are behind Yuta. Start to the submission while Yuta does manage to get the near ropes. MJF drags him into the middle rope. Pulls back more on it, putting more pressure on it. And MJF picks up the win. He gets the win. He's celebrating. Will Yuta gets up, turns around, and just says some things to him. Puts his hand down. It's like, come on, shake my hand. That was a hell of a match. Shake my hand. And you can just see it's like confliction. Like, MJF's conflicted. What does he do? Does he really want to shake this guy's hand? He doesn't expect anybody. It's like, he looks like he's about ready to shake his hand when Lee Moriarty comes from behind and attacks Will Yuta, and MJF's like, wait a minute, what the fuck? I didn't tell you to do that. What the hell? Hathaway comes up, hands him the diamond ring. He looks like, and Lee Moriarty has him dead to rights, has him held up. And you just see MJF, he's like, do I really want to do this? He's like in this moment of confliction, which is really weird for MJF because this is not something you would see MJF do. All of a sudden, he's getting ready to wind it up and everything. William Regal comes off a commentary, pulls the brass knucks out of his pocket, puts them on, and walks to the ring. Lee Johnson and Lee Moriarty and Stokely Hathaway back away. He has to stare down with MJF. MJF has words with him and exits the ring to Bruce. So, I saw the people online not saying none of this makes any sense. Why would MJF do this? He doesn't respect anybody. Like, some people are like, oh, like, after everything that happened the last week, why would Wheeler Yuta want to be friends with this guy? And it's like, after having a banger of a match, asking to shake hands out of respect automatically makes you friends? Nah, man. If they actually shook hands, MJF would come out next week, cut a promo for his match with Moxley, like his title shot against Moxley, whoever the champion is, and he would go ahead and just bury the shit out of Wheeler Yuta, as he doesn't give a shit about him. He just had him in that moment. Not a big problem to me. We'll see what happens going on. I don't see MJF turning babyface yet. After he wins the championship, maybe we go down that road, possibly, but he's going up against either Moxley or Hangman Page, which is going to be Moxley. Moxley's going to be the babyface. He's going to be heel. Come on. We see the Jericho Appreciation Society. They're all bashing Daniel Garcia. Sammy Guevara goes to talk, and the fucking crowd boos. And Jericho says that Garcia, you need to make the right choice. And then Sammy says, if you don't, we're going to have to end you. Which, again, he got massive heat for that. Jay Lethal versus Darby Allin. I don't know. This match just feels so fucking random. I know they announced it last week. Jay Lethal clearly going babyface soon. He didn't come out here with Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt. Yeah, Sanjay Dutt. Good match here. Really, really good match. Now, he's like, I want to do this on my own. I can prove I can do it on my own. Sting's not coming with Darby, which I guess Sting wants Darby to go with him to Pro Wrestling Noah to team with the Great Muta, and Muta's last match is Keiji Muta's last match as the Great Muta. Good for them. Now, they're having the great back and forth match here, but all of a sudden, Sanjay Dutt and Satnam saying, come to the top of the stage. And they're just sitting there. And Jay Lethal, who has the match like it's about to be won, turns around and is like, go to the back. I don't need you. I have this one. Go. I don't need you. While Allen charges in, exchange pinfall attempts, and then Allen puts on the Last Supper for the sneaky 1-2-3 victory. Jay Lethal is absolutely distraught. He pulls, Darby Allin gets him up and says, you don't need these guys. You're good on your own. You don't need them. Wants him to shake his hand. He waits for a minute, and then he shakes his hand, and that is that. So, Jay Lethal coming back to the side of light after months and months of being a dastardly evil person. Wardlow versus Brian Cage with Prince Nana TNT Championship. Before this match happened, we had a promo from Prince Nana and the Embassy introducing fans to the Gates of Agony and talking about how they're going to come after every piece of gold and all that. And the TNT title is going to be Brian Cage's. Brian Cage cut a little bit of promo. If you didn't hear Brian Cage's promo on Dark Elevation on Monday, you gotta hear it. It's actually a pretty good promo. He actually responded to me on social about me. I'm wondering if he's been working on his promos. So this match was awesome. I can't justify even talking about this match. I wish I had the clip, but give me a second.
We're big shit. We're big chess. And big muscles. Bumping meat. That's why I'm here.
That's basically what you got in this match, with big man slapping big meat. Big E was probably sitting at home, or on his way back from being on the bump today, just smiling ear to ear, watching two big men slapping big meat. This match was great. And these are the matches. These are the matches the TNT Championship needs on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. I can understand you don't want to have him on the show every week because you want everyone else to have shots, but they're going to be in Canada next week. He's not going to be on Wednesday. He needs to be on Friday defending this title against a guy like Brian Cage. Somebody. These two beat the shit out of each other. And this was definitely one of those, if you haven't seen Brian Cage in a while and you're wondering what he's been doing, he's been working himself up, and this was great. Powerbomb Symphony, Wardlow picks up the win. After the match, the Gates of Agony come in. They start attacking Cage, but Samoa Joe hits the ring to try and make the save. Numbers grow. Game proves too much as the Gates at the NBC continue to take advantage until FTR with the big pop of the night appear. The Embassy quickly back off because it went from 3-on-2 to 4-on-3. And we see a stare down between the Gates of Agony and FTR. And at Battle of the Belts on Friday, which is the only match worth a damn on Friday, you get FTR versus the Gates of Agony. I'm not going to review Battle of the Belts because honestly, Battle of the Belts is not a waste. It's just a big waste of time in my opinion. If Tony Khan can't figure out how to build towards these shows and just throws matches on there hoping people are going to give a shit, why should we give a shit? So, Nightingale and Athena versus Jamie Hayter, Penelope Ford, and Serena Deeb. Before this match, Shit Faker, turning backstage, clears that Saraya is not medically cleared to compete because the doctors that she's talked to had said that she isn't. And of course, Tyler was like, I wonder what who those doctors are. The match was fine. Everyone's going to not talk about the match because what happened after? Willow gets the pin in the win. Good for her. Jamie Hayter, first off, is super fucking over. She's so over. And the fact they have her saddled as the Shit Faker's BFF, who teased turning on her at the Grand Slam, but it's not going to turn on her because they're BFFs. And Shit Faker is a snake in women's clothing. She is a nasty, nasty snake. But they get in the babyface in the ring. Soraya's in there. Soraya's in there too. Shit Faker pushes them away and just has words with Saraya. Saraya gives her a nice, good old face, pie face. They get physical. All 8 women get physical. Rebel's left in the ring. She gets down on one knee. She's like, please, 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 please don't hurt me. I'm a fan. And Saraya's not hearing any of this and just super kicks her, showing over when she can get physical. She did not take a bump, but I didn't expect her to. She's cleared for some physical activity. Doesn't mean she can still have a match. We'll see. Good. It got like when Shit Faker and Saraya started to fight. My God, the crowd was like, oh yeah. Like they had that it wasn't like a huge Road Warriors type pop, but they had that oh type of. That's what it sounded. It was a different type of pop. So we'll see what happens. Of course, they brought her in. It was clear from the moment Saraya showed up on TV that they want her in a match with Shit Faker, AEW's Fox Gold dentist. The biggest, I'm gonna say, a lot of people are gonna say it's probably the best part of the show. National Scissoring Day celebration with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. This is a call out to anybody who is at Monday Night Raw for the season premiere. I want every single one of you to chant Daddy Ass. From the time DX shows up to the time the segment's over, chant Daddy Ass because he's not going to be there. So the Acclaim hit the ring. Max Caster delivers a promo and Anthony Bowens wants Daddy Ass to scissor him. Bowens then welcomes him to National Scissoring Day as he claims they're the most popular team in AEW history. FTR has something to say about that. And the best homegrown team in history. Absolutely. That is 100% facts. He also revealed the new t-shirt is Scissor Me Daddy Ass is the number 1 selling t-shirt in 2022. Not of all time because the CM Punk shirt is going to be kind of hard to beat. But of all time, of the 2022, yes. Bones brought home some gold. So AEW doesn't stand for All Elite Wrestling. It stands for Acclaimed every Wednesday. Excalibur jokes about they have to update the graphic. Bowen said normally celebrate by scissoring. He knows a thing or two about that, which there's your dirty joke for the night. And he explains what it is. It's a handshake. It's not a friendship. It's not a true team. He says the people want the division to be represented by a real team, not 2 dudes thrown together like Swerve and Keith Lee. He claims that Sneaky Swerve would like people to believe that the most popular team, but that's wrong because everyone loves the Acclaim. Bowen says it is Swerve. It isn't Swerve's house. Billy takes the mic and says it's Daddy Ass's house. He was sent to the City Hall today and asked to present them with something. He gets a giant pair of gold scissors. So Anthony Bowens decides he's going to run and jog around the ring. And Billy's like, no running with scissors in your hands, thank you. Castle wants to talk about greatness. He mentions the Washington the Commanders before winning Super Bowl 17. And a lot of people weren't even alive or know about that thing, but it means a lot to him because his dad was on the championship team, and that ring means a lot to him. Even if he didn't play in the game, he was still on that roster, and he still has a ring. So, yeah, that means a lot to him. That's gonna be something he keeps with him all the time. He wears it proudly. I know somebody around here who was in a minor league baseball championship, and he wears that ring all the time. He doesn't like put it in everyone's face, but you see it. It's not hard to. It's hard. It's not easy to miss. You will see it like just walking by. It just shines. So I understand what he means by that. And of course, this tag team title goal for Caster is going to be his Super Bowl ring. There's no left, right, no red, blue. They wear pink, and they are people's choice and vote. Boys, they're doing the first ever bipartisan scissor to unite the country. But before they can do that, here comes Who's House? Swerve comes out. Says this is the most idiotic thing I've ever seen. He tells us more kids can get suspended like they did before with Billy due to a t-shirt. Strickland points out that if he wasn't for Gunn, they'd still Swerve and Glory would still be chances. Says next week it'll be Billy Gunn facing Swerve one-on-one. If he tries to use his two fingers, he'll make sure he never uses them again because Rock beats Scissors. Here comes, because this did not need to happen. Here comes Mark Sterling to say, I told you everyone that Strickland is a jerk, and it's time to get this guy out of here. He wants to represent them, and instead he's taken out by Bowens, mic drop, and then a scissor leg drop from the top rope by Anthony Bowens. Let's not do that again, ever, please. Gunn then accepts Switch challenge. I was hoping he would have said, and if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Scissor me! I think that would have been great, but, they do this spot, and that is that. Madison Rain is then shown backstage putting over Sky Blue, how she's improved, which she had definitely improved from last year. Tay Mellon and Jay tell them they need a sports entertainment coach. Blue claims she can work on her personality while they work on their wrestling skills. And she challenges them to tag matches for this coming Friday on Rampage. I will say, I think the first time I've heard Sky Blue actually be in a promo wasn't bad. Not bad at all. Whoosh versus Hangman Adam Page. This one was a fight. These two went at each other like fucking their careers depended on it. These two just Whoosh is great. The whole thing with Andrade and everything. If Andrade wants to leave, that's fine. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. You got Whoosh. Whoosh is the guy you need to be pushing out of him and Andrade. I'm just saying. Whoosh had the faction on Ingo Benables. That's his baby. That's his group. He had it with him, Dragon Lee, Kenny King, and a couple others in Ring of Honor. He don't need Andrade for La Faction Ingo Benables. Jose could be Whoosh's assistant, and we move from there. So they beat the shit out of each other. Looked like Whoosh was going to pick it up with the bull's horns, but Lariat, followed by a buckshot Lariat, picks up the win for Adam Hangman Page. After the match, Private Party reluctantly comes down at the order of Jose, but Jon Moxley appears and just has this look. He's just shaking his head like, not tonight, boys. Gets to the ring and says he's been waiting for this for 3 years. He studied Page because he knew it was coming. He said it's between them. They're beating everyone except each other. He says there will be one last man standing after the match here in AEW. He's going to break his face, choke him until he turns blue because he's in the way of Moxley becoming the top guy in the absolute best in all of professional wrestling. Moxley has respect for Page and he admires him as a person, but when he rings the bell, he doesn't respect anything. Page then says, if you've been waiting for so long, why don't you get in here now? Why don't we go right now? Moxley grabs the mic again and says, you're a sweet kid. Like a lot of kids around here, you say some stupid things that get you in trouble. That's the shot at Sammy and Andrade, obviously. He tells them you got 13 days to think about this, so you better watch your mouth. And walks off, and that is your match in 2 weeks' time. The night that, Jon Moxley was supposed to return after All Out. He was supposed to leave it all out and come back in 13 days. Just saying. Luchasaurus versus Christian Cage. I'm sorry, with Christian Cage. Oh, poor Fuego del Sol. Fuego del Sol becoming another victim to Luchasaurus. This match lasted about 30 seconds. After the match, he goes to throw him into the ring, onto the ramp. When Jungle Boy appears, attacks him with a chair and sends his former partner to the floor as Cage holds him back. Jungle Boy then says that you are my best friend, and you are my best friend, and you broke my heart. And he goes Christian. But now he's going to break his fingers, his arms, and every piece until he breaks him. Tells him pick time to place, and Jungle Boy will be ready. Christian then reminds him that he said not to come back this week. It will be easy for them to drop him and leave him in a piss and pool of his own piss and blood. But Jungle Boy has got him thinking. It won't be happening tonight, but it'll be happening next Wednesday in Christian Cage's hometown of Toronto, Canada. For the main event, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot. It was 10:53 when this ended. When this entire segment ended, when we went to commercial. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot tonight was a 2 hours and 15-minute show. So we got Bryan Danielson and Daniel Garcia versus Chris Jericho and that dirty dog, Sammy Guevara. That bitch, Sammy Guevara. That coward, Sammy Guevara. Tony Khan's favorite little bitch boy, Sammy Guevara. It's not a good look for Tony Khan, and it's not going to be a look for Tony Khan. So, the match starts, you get a good old fuck you, Sammy, from everybody in the crowd, because we're not stupid. This isn't 1999, where something like that with Sammy Guevara and Andrade happens, and you don't hear about it, except for, the dirt sheets and maybe a couple fans here and there. This is 2022, and this shit's on the phone everywhere. And, yeah. So, we had the match. The match was good. Every time Sammy got knocked out or got hit or something, fans went crazy. Every time he did something, they would boo. All in all, Garcia had locked in the Dragon Tamer, and you could definitely see where this was going a mile away, because he was moving a little bit closer and a little bit closer to have his head at the ropes. Now, a little bit before this, Danielson was supposed to get back body dropped into the table, but he landed on the Ring of Honor World Championship, so that didn't break the table. So Jericho just powerbombed him through the table. Jericho gets his Ring of Honor title, and as Garcia keeps going closer to the ropes with his face, hits him in the face. Sammy pins him 1, 2, 3, and they pick up the win. Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara, and this got so many people pissed. So many people pissed online, and rightfully so. So, the last thing we see is the Jericho Appreciation Society all celebrating while Daniel Garcia is in the ring, just miserable that he lost this match. So we didn't get the Four Horsemen turns on Sting. Lately, Ric Flair turns on Sting to help Brian Pillman and Arn Anderson beat up Sting type of angle. But we didn't get anything else of where Daniel Garcia is going to be standing. That's going to be next week for the Ring of Honor World Championship, and the Swerve's coming. What it looks like, we're going to have Daniel Garcia leave the JAS. I think he's going to help Jericho retain, and that is that. The show was pretty good. It's overshadowed by everything backstage. Once again, Tony Khan needs to be a fucking boss. Suspend both Sammy Guevara and Andrade for a month at least, both of them. Stop playing favorites. Be a fucking boss. Be a fucking man. Enough of shit. But that is your AEW on TBS review. Hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds of the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. And find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I'll see you guys on Friday for SmackDown. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.